Hey Kinsley, thanks for letting me interview you today about your charm bracelet, right?
Yep.
Sweet. So I just got a few questions prepared just to see if I can learn a little bit more about it.
Sounds good.
First one, how come you chose the charm bracelet as your significant object, actually?
Oh, um, because this is a stupid question. I mean, a stupid answer because the answer is because it has a lot of significance to me.
Wow, okay, well, I mean, I kind
Well,
of figured that, but
let me think of some bullet points. So, I got it on a vacation.
okay.
Um, so
Okay, so actually, just going into my next one, how old were you when you got it? Like, how long have you had it?
I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay, so how long have you had it now then?
6 years. 6 years.
Okay, we're just testing out your math skills. Um, okay, so since it's a charm bracelet, I know you can keep adding charms on it, right?
Yeah.
So how many charms do you actually have on it?
There are 6 charms on the bracelet, and they're the original charms. I've never added or taken away charms from it. I bought it
Okay,
like this. Yeah.
okay,
Do you want to see it?
yes.
Okay. I don't know if it'll come out like through the thing, but
Okay, I can see
those,
it a little bit. Yeah,
yeah.
sweet. Okay, so it's nothing super flashy, but it's nothing super dull either.
No, it's just a silver charm bracelet.
Nice. Okay, so since there's six charms, does each charm associate with a meaningful thing to you, or
Well, the whole bracelet is themed. It's like a themed charm bracelet,
okay,
and so I guess some context. I got this in Seattle.
okay.
My dad bought it for me at an antique store,
Oh wow.
and it's a charm bracelet from the 1962 Seattle World's Fair. So all the charms are either Seattle landmarks or like fair, the World's Fair related stuff. So like there's Pike's Place Market is on here, the monorail, the
Okay.
Science Museum, the carousel, the Space Needle, obviously,
Yeah.
and then something else which I think is like some sort of garden pavilion. I can't really tell,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. So then, what makes it so special to you? Because your dad bought it at the antique thing, or just like it's just kind of grown a part of you, or
I It's certainly the fact that it was with my dad and my dad bought it makes it more special because I'm very close with him and we have we're like the same person basically. And one thing that we really like that we share in common is vintage and like history, and just we love to go antiquing.
okay.
And so this was just a product of one of those journeys.
And the father-daughter moment, basically, that's carried on for 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's funny. Like, I think if I asked him about it, he would be like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I remember that." But for me, I was really in a bad place as
Okay.
a sophomore in high school. Like, I was getting into a lot of trouble. I'd actually just gotten suspended from school, and we had this trip to Seattle planned, and it was pretty much my dad was like, I don't think I can allow you to go on this trip as punishment. But then he decided to kind of turn it around and
Okay.
took me. And I don't know, I think just after that trip, like stuff kind of changed for me,
Nice.
if that
Okay,
makes
so
any
it's
sense.
kind of almost a turning point then. Like once you got it, you kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
really know where to go
definitely.
off of that, but yeah.
No, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so you said you got it from antiquing. Do you remember exactly where you got it?
Oh yeah. Um, well, I just lived in Washington State this past summer, so I went down and just happened to find the store again 6 years later. It's right on Alaska Way, which is like the main, is like where you would go to Pike's Place and the piers. It's like right on the wharf. And it's just kind of in the touristy section. I don't know. I just remember seeing it in the case and thinking that it was really cool, really beautiful.
Nice. You're just like, ooh, shiny also, right?
You know, it's actually, it's very dull.
Okay. So it's not like one of those sparkling ones then.
No, I like things that look old and like they've been used. Like someone wore this at the fair.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, so out of the 6, which of the charm is your personal favorite and why?
It's such a good question. You know, I'm gonna go with, there's like a, I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of this like little, it just looks like a square to you probably, but it's got raised up buildings and it's supposed to be like the science museum.
Okay.
And I just think that it's my favorite because knowing what I know now from my history classes and going there, it was a big deal in Seattle at that time to showcase it as like a mover and shaker in technology and all this. And the Science Center was very much constructed in this like space age style. And I just think it was. Is there noise happening?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just think that let me try to articulate this. Sorry. I think that the Science Center is very indicative of that whole period in American like cultural history. If that makes sense. Like we were really into space age stuff.
Yeah.
And the West Coast was just kind of starting to grow out.
Sweet. Okay.
You're like, okay, sure.
No. Is there like, do you wear it every day, like to every kind of activity, or is it like?
God, no.
Are you just like, or is there like a certain activity you wear it to?
I almost never wear it, to be honest. It's one of those things that I just don't. I bought it more as almost like something that you would frame rather than something that I would actually wear. It's just been sitting in my jewelry box. I think I've probably worn it like a handful of times.
Okay. So
yeah.
it's like a jewelry box item. I can't say that word. Or you kind of like almost like hanging up on the wall, kind of, so you can kind of see it every time. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's an antique when it comes down to it.
Okay. Let me see. Here's another one. Another question off of what I've learned. Has there been one time that you've been like super proud to wear it in front of people?
Yeah. This past summer was the first time I had been back to Washington since that trip. And it was interesting because I went back as an adult and all this. I actually was living in the San Juan Islands, but my boyfriend, who lives in Colorado, came out and visited me in Seattle for the weekend. And so I was really stoked to wear it and go back to, like Seattle Center and all that, and just kind of be in Seattle with it.
Like be in Seattle and like have a couple of like the landmarks on your wrist.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. Do you kind of advertise it to people when you like, hey, I have a charm bracelet? Do they have like a certain perception of it or anything, or has that ever come across?
Well, like I said, I don't really wear it very often, but when people do ask about it, I always say, oh, it's places around Seattle and it's from the 1962 World's Fair. Like, I never pretend that it's not from the original fair. I want people to know that I have a really cool charm bracelet. Like, it's not just like something that I bought in a tourist store that there's 100 of. You know?
It's kind of like, oh, hey, I got this. That's from 50 plus years ago. So that could almost be your proudest moment when you talk about it. Like maybe if people like notice it, you can be like, oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. People are always pretty impressed. Like when I tell them, they're like, wow, that's really cool. Like, wow, World's Fair.
Yeah, like I mean, like not many of our generation or whatever kind of have old items like that anymore. So it's pretty cool having something that can go on your wrist and you can carry around with you.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to find jewelry at antique stores that's not like costume jewelry.
Yeah. So this is like like an everyday, or not really an everyday, more of like a casual jewelry, whatever. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I just like to imagine who had it before me. Like.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. If only there was some way that you could, find out who had it before you. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've thought about it. Like, I mean, older women don't wear charm bracelets, so it's probably like a young girl or something, I don't know. I wonder how much it cost. I'm really curious about how much it cost originally.
Have you ever Googled it then?
Oh my God, I should. I should totally research it. I can't believe I've never done that.
Probably research it after this interview.
Maybe.
All right. Well, I think I got most of what I need. I don't really think I need to ask any more questions. Thanks for letting me interview you about your charm bracelet. And yeah. All right.
Okay. Sounds good.